Is learning coding and CAD still worth it in 2026? A few years ago, everyone said learn to code or be left behind. Now the message is flipped to AI writes code, humans are obsolete. Both of those takes are lazy. Because if learning coding and CAD were actually pointless in 2026, you wouldn't see engineers, designers, and builders using AI more than anyone else. So today I want to answer this question honestly, not as motivation, not as doom, but as a systems check. Is learning coding and CAD still worth it in 2026? And what about this idea about that prompt engineer is the new career path? A bit of disclosure though, I'm not an engineer or a coder yet. I'm on a journey to be self-taught. It's becoming apparent to me that for all the projects I want to do, there's no two ways around it. I'm going to need to learn this stuff for real. First, let's deal with the prompt engineer thing. Prompt engineering was never a real profession. It was a transitional skill. Every major tech shift has these. There was a time when knowing DOS commands felt like job security. There was a time when webmaster sounded like a long-term role. Same pattern here. The better large language models get, the less fragile prompting becomes. Prompts are getting wrapped in interfaces, agents, defaults, and guardrails. Companies don't hire people whose main value is talking nicely to tools. They hire people who know what to do when the tool is wrong. Prompting is useful, but it's not a career foundation. AI is generally impressive at certain things. It's great at boilerplate. It's great at translating ideas into syntax. It's great at exploring solution space quickly. It's great at drafting documentation you don't want to write. But here's what it still doesn't do well. It doesn't verify ground truth. It doesn't understand intent beyond patterns. It doesn't reason reliably across long chains of cause and effect. And it absolutely does not understand reality. It sounds confident even when it's wrong, especially when it's wrong. That matters a lot more than people admit. Here's the shift nobody wants to talk about. Coding in 2026 is no longer about typing fast or memorizing syntax. That part is basically solved. Coding is now about judgment, knowing what to build, what not to build, where systems fail, how to test assumptions, how to recognize subtle bugs. AI compresses the distance between idea and execution. That's powerful, but it also makes bad ideas faster. If you don't understand code, you're not a developer. You're a supervisor of hallucinations, and that's a dangerous place to stand. CAD is where the limits of AI become painfully obvious. A model can generate geometry. It can sketch brackets, enclosures, assemblies. What it can't do is feel torque. It can't feel vibration. It can't feel heat, stress, tolerance, stack up, or assembly pain. Reality is adversarial. CAD isn't just about shapes. It's about constraints, trade-offs, and failure modes. Those skills transfer directly into software architecture, automation, and systems thinking. Even if you never become a CAD person, CAD trains your brain to think like an engineer instead of a prompt consumer. So what's actually worth learning? Not this language, not that framework. The durable skills look like this: understanding systems, debugging across abstraction layers, verifying outputs instead of trusting them, owning domain knowledge, mechanical, electrical, financial, biological, pick one. Using tools fluently without worshiping them. Coding and CAD are not about job titles anymore. They're interfaces to thinking. AI doesn't replace learners. It replaces people who never learned how things work. If you outsource understanding, you outsource agency. The future doesn't belong to prompt whisperers. It belongs to people who can look at an AI generated answer and say, that looks right, but it isn't. And then they can fix it. Learning coding in CAD in 2026 isn't obsolete. Blindly trusting tools is. That's the trade.